Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back everybody for another YouTube video. Hopefully you've all had a wonderful weekend. Today we're going to be diving into our general cryptocurrency market update, and we're going to really start things off by looking at this market, re-emphasizing where we think you're going and how that may look. And we're going to do a number of things. We're going to start off, as we like to do, on the long-term regression bands for Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at altcoins and potentially these cycles that they are on and what we may see. Now, 2017 to 2018, in my opinion, looks very similar to 2021, 2022, or certainly how 2022 is shaping up. So we're going to talk about this and talk about some potentially, it's not a good scenario for the cryptocurrency market. It's one that may not play out. And there's so many different variables within the cryptocurrency market in 2021, 2022 than there was in 2017, 2018. However, this is very much the Wall Street cheat sheet that I think we're seeing playing out on altcoins. And if we think that Bitcoin ultimately is going to see lower prices, 24K is, or even 23K is really where we've got our sights on. That means altcoins are probably going to do something similar to what happened in 2017 and are on that journey now. Now, it doesn't have to be the case. We could see an uptick for Bitcoin. In actual fact, I will drop down the timeframes and we'll talk about why potentially a relief rally, is what we're going to call it, is likely to ensue soon. There's a number of reasons for this. We've been looking for a relief rally now for the past week or so, and we haven't seen it. Even though we saw it in the equity market, the cryptocurrency market hasn't basked in one. But this may be coming. You know, the cryptocurrency market may be lagging the equity market. We may see a run up this week, and certainly the base that we've been talking about, the range that we've been in, which we'll drop down the timeframes to get into. You've seen buyers consistently step up every time we've pierced through the lower band of that range, which could be accumulation taking place, ready to pump the prices. Touch a little bit on news, but not greatly. Just a quick update on how Terra is doing. It's currently worth $5.80. Very, very volatile. And I think the reason this has gone down in the manner that it has is because the people that got burnt on Luna will be looking to recoup some of them losses, having lost all faith in the project. Anyway, let's get into it. So this is the long-term regression bands. Every cycle. And we don't think that this is going to be a 2-year long bear market, by the way, guys, in a 2018, 2019 or 2014, 2013 style. I think this is going to be a lot more short-lived and he's going to come back a lot quicker. And in actual fact, one thing that I want to say is we need to get down to these prices to take us up to higher prices and all-time highs, I think, because we need to entice people back into this market and make the opportunities seem, present. I don't know how many of you guys listen to Robert Kiyosaki, but he's waiting for lower prices to load up the truck. You know, the fundamentals for the cryptocurrency market haven't changed. The only thing that changed is the sort of macro conditions. And we've spoken about that really at great length. And it's still very much the case. And until the macro backdrop that we have changes, we aren't going to change our stance because March 2020 onwards, you know, these markets have been driven by the Fed essentially. To a large part. Of course, there's lots of innovation going on in the cryptocurrency market, but as a market, the Fed are very much responsible for everything we saw from March 2020 onwards and now what's happening today, which is very regressive policy. So just like previously, you know, we think you're coming down to these lower bands. You've also, I'll move us to the weekly, got your 200 moving average down here, you know, and this is the range that I'm looking for when we do eventually drop to it. Doesn't mean that we can't see some kind of a rally. And in actual fact, what we've been doing over the past sort of 12 to 13 days could suggest that a rally is coming, just given how defended the lower band is. You know, I think it's around about 28,700, continues to get consistently bid up and held, which could be people accumulating for the next leg. We also had, strangely, JP Morgan come out and express their interest in the cryptocurrency market. This is an article. It says JP Morgan sees higher BTC price potential. And it talks about a number of other people getting into the cryptocurrency market. You know, despite the price action, the infrastructure for crypto continues to get built. And, you know, this market isn't done. We are extremely bullish on the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin. But right now, and I know people think we're being bearish, we're not, to a degree, short term maybe. right now, I just think that the macro is driving everything. The price comes lower. And these are the targets you're looking at. Now, if that's the case, your altcoins, I think, are going to complete a similar thing to what happened in 2017, 2018. You guys know, or some of you will certainly know, that we're setting up a paid group. It's not going to be a lot of money at all. It's going to involve a newsletter, a Discord community, weekly meetings with me, where we're really going to talk about a number of things. I've been putting together a lot of literature, which is why it's taken me so long to actually release it publicly. Basically doing things like going over portfolio management, where we're at in the cycle, altcoins that we're looking to accumulate. We've got about 50 plus altcoins, and we're not talking about your blue chips like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the sort of main smart contracts. Altcoins that have a lot of promise and good backing moving forwards that we're going to be trying to buy, but we're on the sidelines now looking for entries, and you'll get all that in the group. Anyway, a little bit of self-promotion there. So when it comes to altcoins, this is essentially what I think the journey that I think you're now on. Doesn't mean, and what you've got to remember is if you look at this is Ethereum back in 2018, 2017, and this is Ethereum today. This kind of a bounce is potentially what we're looking for. And people go, okay, well, is this not here? If we drop down, for me to really illustrate this point, to the daily, to move my charts, sorry guys. You know, I think the bounce that we've just gone through for the likes of Ethereum more mimics this, given where this kind of level is, than this one here. And I think, you know, Bitcoin, even though I'm looking for a bounce for Bitcoin, it may not come just yet. I'm expecting something. I mean, the way that we've been basing kind of, it's basically led me to take all my shorts off the table, because I don't want to be shorting into a market that I haven't got any kind of, it's not a clear thing that we're going to have a bounce. It's also not a clear thing that we're going to drop, given just the attempts that we've seen so far. But it only takes a bit of volume to come in and you know, a direction is going to be decided. But where we are in altcoins is, of course, Ethereum. You know, I think you're very much repeating this. And what we're doing is we're looking for lower prices. So you may do something like this. You may get a bounce up, coming back into this, and then you may sell off and bottom in a similar fashion to what Ethereum then went on to do. Can you see this? This is what we're kind of looking at. This is what I think the play is probably going to be for altcoins, to be honest. And if we look at AVAX, very, very similar. You know, these altcoins had a lot of money and momentum thrown into them in a very short period of time. That is pumpermentals in the sense that that's what really causes the Wall Street cheat sheet. And I think you are looking at coming down. AVAX, I'll give you a target. We do have lots of our targets in the group. We're looking at sort of $13 for AVAX eventually. Doesn't mean that we don't have this sort of rally, and then we see that before we base out and then see continuation. I don't think it's going to be as prolonged as the prior bear markets. But if our overall bias is that we think Bitcoin is going down, you know, I don't need to tell you what that means for altcoins, because I'm sure you're all aware. Let's drop down, and we're going to get into a lot more of this sort of stuff in the paid group. You know, it's really going to be a way for me to be in constant contact with you guys, and, you know, giving you my market thoughts. And hopefully, you know, I think there's some amazing opportunities at hand now and coming into the future, the near future, that people are going to be able to take advantage of, hopefully. Let's write down the time frames. Let's not mess around, and let's go straight to the hourly. This is the range you've been in, guys, for the past, what is it now? It's got to be 13 days. 16 days, basically. This is the range that you've been in. And you can see it is very much a range. You know, it's been frustrating as hell. Literally, it's been the easiest trading ever, and I hate that. It's just literally been look for the deviations and basically short them within this range, and they tend to gravitate towards one another. Now, I would hate to see Bitcoin do that again after this being a longer, prolonged period of deviation. But it may be the case. And one thing that has me concerned about shorting here, and I could be totally wrong, guys, and we've made good money from the shorts that we've given a lot higher up, is just how many times you've defended this level. Somebody, and it could just be traders, but I think there's been some decent momentum behind it, certainly here and here. I think most traders would have been like, nah, we're not going to risk longing this again here and here. But somebody's been bidding this level up very heavily, which leads me to believe that this is some sort of a basing structure, potentially. You're also not going flat. You're kind of marginally going lower. But we'll see. Doesn't mean that we can't roll over. I think one thing that I have learned so far trading this current downtrend is not to bet against it. You know, it is a downtrend. Just because and that's one factor that makes me think it's somewhat risky shorting here. Another one is just how weak the dollar has actually been. Now, we think the dollar goes higher eventually, given how the FX market is comprised and how what's going to drive, that there is a real incentive for the dollar to go higher, given everything that's going on. But how we finished the stock market on Friday, I mean, we still actually haven't even seen crypto really get much relief as a result of this, but it could just be lagging behind and doing a similar thing. Equally, though, if the stock market, and it does love to do this, decides to peak and slam, it's going to be bad for crypto. So it's very risky shorting or longing right now. And really, one thing that we are, to get aggressive and start to put some big money on the table, we want some sort of a break of this range and, some sort of consolidation, sort of hinting at direction, not just a deviation, some sort of sustained move that we can then get short on and look for the direction. And I think the overall direction is going to be down, but, this could be the breeding ground for a move up in the coming weeks. We'll see what happens. Of course, the market's going to tell us. But there are a lot of similarities between what you're doing here, what you did over here, and it kind of, even though it's not a falling wedge that we're in, you can kind of see similar structure over here, guys. The difference being that we've not got down to this wick yet. So that may be something that comes before you get the catalyst. But ultimately, the point of me bringing this up is just be very careful. It's going to be a very telling week. I'm certainly excited for Monday and how it opens. And that's something to look out for. So we've ran past a few altcoins. A little bit of the news, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. Of course, we did actually do a longer video about JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin has a fair value of 38K. Very convenient given the fact that, we've been doing what we've been doing. Are the bidders institutions that are causing this kind of a base, if you will? And are they talking about 38K only so they can buy here, long it up to 38K, and then sell it again? I mean, potentially, often they do correlate news with what they're trying to, the goals that they have in terms of trading. Stocks could build on gains in the week ahead as investors await Friday's job report. It could indeed. And it's very typical when the stock market has a day like that, the gains actually will continue for a week or so. Something to watch, because I think if the stock market continues to come in strong, that's going to be very supportive for the cryptocurrency market. And that is really all I have for you. This was a very interesting article. The increasing acute need for crypto native insurance. Now, this is something that I'm actually going to try and work on myself, talk to a number of developers and see if there's any way we can do this, number of financial people, because could you imagine a blockchain-based insurance? But that's something I should probably talk about for another video. All I've got for you in this one, guys, if you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so it's a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.